Hey, my friends, welcome to the Ryan Ray official channel where we talk money, mission, and mindset from a kingdom perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Ray, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode is part of our Get Serious Conversations That Shift Culture series, where we dig deep into what it means to lead with purpose, steward with clarity, and build a legacy that lasts. Whether you're new here or a longtime listener.
Hey friends, I am Ryan Ray and welcome to the Ryan Ray official podcast. Here we talk about money, mission, and mindset from a kingdom perspective. This season, we're getting serious. You're going to hear from purpose-driven leaders, kingdom leaders, and change makers as we dig into legacy, leadership, and how faith transforms our finances. We're excited this year about our Get Serious Conversations That Shift Culture. And our guest today is a friend of mine. We've got to know each other pretty well along the way. Maybe we'll share some of this information down the road, but we're kind of joint at the hips, I guess, in a few different ways. But my man, should I call you Donyell or DJ?
Call me DJ, brother.
All right, DJ. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Doing well, Ryan, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Well, look, we're going to jump right into this, but let me read this bio so everybody know who we're talking to today. So Donyell DJ Jones has recently, congratulations again, man, been named the Chief Operating Officer of the Boys and Girls Club of Wake in Johnston County. DJ brings over 2 decades of leadership experience within the Girls and Boys Club movement, having previously served the organization in a variety of roles, including the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and Executive Vice President. Most recently, Mr. Jones served as the executive director of Urban Ministries of Wake County. And prior to that, his 23-year tenure with the Boys and Girls Club marked a very impactful leadership and strategic growth. DJ led initiatives that significantly increased youth and teen participation, expanded programming into underserved communities. We're going to get into that a little bit today, and strengthened partnerships with local stakeholders. His dedication and service have earned national recognition. In 2019, DJ was honored as the Southeast Region Professional of the Year by Boys and Girls Clubs of America. The following year, he didn't stop there. He received the prestigious Herman S. Prescott Award, presented annually to a club professional who exemplifies the value of diversity and equality. Man, what a storied career already. You're only in your 30s, right?
Hey, man. You know, sometimes God puts you in positions and open up doors, so you got to kick them down.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, man, I mean, again, I know a little about you, but maybe for our viewers, tell us a little bit about your background, man, where you were born. And I know you were very involved in the Boys and Girls Club right from the gate. So let's talk about that and how that transcended into you now being back home in such an incredible leadership capacity.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Ryan, we're right here, Southeast Raleigh, as we called it. I don't just say Raleigh, from Southeast Raleigh. Specifically, correct. And I was fortunate to be a Boys and Girls Club member at age 5. And so really Boys and Girls Club has been a part of my life and my whole entire life. And a lot of my first opportunities came because of Boys and Girls Clubs. And I'm not alone in that. I mean, we have some prestigious alum all across this country, even here locally. And so to be a part of a program that provided me opportunities and exposures that I normally would not have was a key and pivotal moment in my life as I matriculated all the way up through even going to college and helping them help me with some decisions that we made. Of course, Southeast Raleigh has dealt with gentrification right now, and so the community looks a lot differently than when I was previously here. But it's still an opportunity to serve and impact young people, as we say, that need us most. I went to UNC Greensboro, majored in accounting, so I don't know how I got into youth development. Somebody saw something in me and gave me an opportunity to run a small club across Walnut Terrace, which at the time was the largest one-income housing community in Raleigh. And that's what really got my on-the-ground training for those young people that was in that community.
Yeah.
And really thinking back to how the club served me, try to do the same for those kids in that community as well. And so from there on, man, it was opportunity to travel to different areas of the country, including going to Tennessee, coming back to North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina, and then in that north central portion of North Carolina as well.
Yeah.
Took about a year and a half off from the movement, and had an opportunity to come back home about a month ago, to be a part of an organization that helped raise me in the community that I grew up in. So it was awesome to be able to come back and serve a community that basically matured me and gave me the opportunities that I have today.
Yeah. Incredible, man. Incredible. Yeah, just noting, the work that you've done and your story. I mean, just how important and how integral was being brought up in that type of community, with those folks around you, with those safeguards around you. How important is that now, and was that for you in helping to shape you into the young man you've become today?
Yeah, it was critical. People say those hours of 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. after school is the time when most young people get in trouble. Mm. And of course, our parents are at work, and we have, free reign of sometimes we're latchkey kids, sometimes playing around in the community. But for our community, the Boys and Girls Club was essential for our community. It wasn't the churches, it wasn't any other organization, it was the Boys and Girls Club. And even working there as a club director at one time, you start to realize that people start to put that trust in that institution. Mm-hmm. Well beyond just serving the young people and their kids. Yeah. They're coming. I mean, I had parents come to me, ask me about home ownership and about college admissions and, how can I get a job and all these things. I'm a young kid right out of college. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know myself. They come in and ask these questions because of the trust that they have with us. And so that opportunity, similar to when I was a kid, that we had board members, we had community partners, we had organizations that were experts in these arenas. And so I would bring those individuals into the club, and we started parent seminars. I would poll the parents and say, okay, what do we need to talk about? What are some of the challenges you're having? Because we know the impact of that those parents have on the kids that we're trying to serve. And they started just listing items for credit repair, for debt management, college admissions, I mentioned, home ownership. And so when I brought the people in, though, I told them, you're here not necessarily to get their business. You want to give them information. And if you give them the information, they trust you, you'll get their business. That's and good. So we began having, those opportunities where parents would come in monthly. We have a seminar on a topic, and a banker would come in, college admissions would come in, credit repair and debt management would come in, whenever those parents need at the time to bolster their opportunities in their own lives, because we know the impact that they had on their kids. And so even though we serve young people as our mission, we also serve the family as a whole, because we need the family to be strong for the young people to be able to embrace what we're trying to teach each day after school during the summer.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned a couple of times, this, I guess, analogy, if you will, of coming back home, and to an organization that's really a pillar, in the community. We think about, the institutions that, we count on today, right? And some of them don't seem to be standing the test of time, right? There's challenges within our schools. There's challenges within our churches. Challenges in the government, right? There's challenges everywhere, and sometimes it just feels like it's more than we can really wrap our head around. And certainly the control, the autonomy is outside of our control. But it seems like community organizations like a Boys and Girls Club can have a little bit more certainty and bring some foundation to individuals in the community who may be struggling. What have been some of your greatest, testimonies or stories of transformation or just impact? I see you smiling, man. So you probably got more than we got time to hear.
I got to think of one. Which one am I going to use this time?
Share a few of it. Share a few with us if you would.
I'm going to go back to my first club. Right out of college again. Got my accounting degree in one hand, and I'm in a Boys and Girls Club the next day. And over at Walnut Terrace, I mean, a lot of people, who may see this or hear this may not be familiar with downtown Raleigh. But across from Shaw University over Martin Luther King's a community called Walnut Terrace. Doesn't look like it today what it did at that time.
Yeah.
But just like a lot of the low-income housing and the housing authority properties, was one of those that was torn down and rebuilt. But at that time, Walnut Terrace was one of those places you just didn't go. You just didn't go to Walnut Terrace unless
that's where you hung out at, huh?
Right. You don't go there. And across the street we had a magnet school, and a lot of those kids in Walnut Terrace did not attend that at magnet school. They were bussed out to Cary. And so for me, there was about 8 or 9 middle school kids 7th and 8th graders. And when I started to just really learn about them and their families, I could see that every kid in that community under their age, they led them in some capacity, not always positively, but between these 7 or 8 kids, all the other kids followed them. Some were family members, some were just friends, some just looked up to them. And so I took those 7 and 8 kids, and that became my core group. I said, if I can get these kids to follow my path, I'll get all the others to follow. But one spring break, as they got into 9th and 10th grade, I decided to take them to Howard University for a week during that spring break. At that time, they had these state clubs of Howard. So they had like a North Carolina club at Howard, Illinois club at Howard.
Yeah.
They would connect with the president of the North Carolina club. And I told her that I want to bring some kids up for a college experience, during that spring break week. And I don't want to just do a regular tour. I want them really to get embedded into what college looks like, because none of these kids have family members that went to college.
Yeah.
And so they set us up, and it's stuff that we can't do today that we could do then. They were all matched up with a college student. So they went in the dorm with them. They went to classes. They went to some social events they had. And then they also had planned trips, to all of the historical sites in D.C. Yeah. And so these kids had a week-long experience out of their communities in the nation's capital on the HBCU campus at prestigious Howard University, and got to really feel and see what college life is like. Wow. And out of those 8 kids, 7 of them graduated from college and 1 went to the Marines. And these are kids who never thought about college. Nobody in their family. And today, these kids are like in their 30s. They have their own families. And one young lady actually went and got her master's at NC State. And I asked her one time, some years back, about, what made you have the motivation when you didn't see it in your family to go to college, get a master's, and then you get back to community. She said, Mr. DJ, it was that time you took us to Howard. She said, I realized then that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Wow. That's really those situations really what kept me in Boys and Girls Clubs. And I had opportunity to lead is looking back and say, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Yeah. Not saying I'm the best, not saying I'm the only one, but I feel like if it's been laid on my heart and my gift, then it's up to me to also to provide that back. But that's just one of many. I've always taught people about what the impact of just providing service.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I was talking with another guest on the show just yesterday, Representative Robertson, for the NC legislator. And so, saying, I think one of the critical things we need in places of influence, power, are people who care. Right. So many times we go and look for people with the resources, or we look with people with influence, or with people with power, or how long they've been, or they're from a certain family. And none of that matters, man, if they don't care. Right. And so it's important to have people in leadership roles like yourself that you're in who care, who will go the extra mile and do those kind of things for kids. Because it's not that you had to, right? But you saw something in them. And through the power of community, right, you were able to put the resources and tools together to give these kids some exposure, right, that had they not had, their stories, I'm sure, would be a lot different today.
Exactly. And it broke cycles. It breaks a cycle.
Yeah.
And now their kids are expected to go off and do something, And you talk about, the economic side and the development side is, they're now young people that's contributed to, our communities in a variety of ways, and building legacy, building wealth, building opportunities. Because one of that young lady, she has her own business now. A couple have their own businesses. They're entrepreneurs, and so I'm not saying that it was all that trip, but it was a part of their
seed. Yeah,
that's right. And for them, for those families now, that may last on. They may be the beginning of a great legacy for their families.
For sure.
What they're currently doing now. So
for sure. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, look, you alluded to it, this word called economics, right? And empowerment. And we're preparing for our upcoming Get Serious Economic Empowerment Weekend, which we're thrilled that you're going to be one of our panelists and speakers. And we're going to start talking about it. We won't give away the farm today, but we're going to kind of begin talking about, the state of North Carolina from an economic empowerment standpoint. Yeah, man, it's a conversation that, I don't know about you, but I heard in my family, grandparents, great grandparents, nobody talked about money. It wasn't talked about a lot in my family unless there wasn't any, right? Then I heard about it, right? But what to do with it, the importance of it and all of these things, it just wasn't at the table. And so, in a couple of weeks, the weekend of September 27th, we're going to be at the Wake Tech East campus having this economic conversation. And so when you do the work that you do, we know from a business perspective, the economics are important. And when we think about, government and just a lot of the things that are happening, I'm sure that presents its own challenges. But coming from someone who cares, like how important is it for our youth today to have a financial foundation, right? A financial understanding, financial literacy. Me and, Mr. James were talking yesterday as well. Like, college today, I think has to be a business, like it's almost a business decision, right? I got out skinned up a little bit with 30 grand. These kids today, man, like that's $100,000 is a lot of money to take 4 years to figure out what I'm going to do next. Right? So how are we preparing our youth today, and how important is that to have this conversation?
Man, like you mentioned earlier, man, these conversations didn't happen in our families, And the crazy thing is, Ryan, I saw examples of people doing great things. I looked at my father. I looked at my great uncle. Yeah, my great uncle, when he went to the Navy, he died a couple years ago in his 80s. He went to the Navy and saved his money and purchased the family land that was provided to them, like one of the first families of sharecroppers that got the loan from the government to purchase land. Almost over 100 acres. Wow. And so he had a wherewithal to save as the youngest child, to save his money, that when he came back, he paid off the loan to ensure that the land stayed in the family. And it's still in the family today. My father, he probably made a quarter of what I made over my career, his life. He owned. He was debt free. And it's like, what did I miss in that house? But we never talked about it. Yeah. There was never a strategy session, but I probably, just immaturity, I didn't ask the questions. I just, but when you look back, it's like, wow, how can I be where I'm at and be in a situation I'm in versus people who have way less than we did and they own things, for the power of ownership. But for young people, like the representative mentioned, we have to start young. If we wait till they get into college, it's too late. Sometimes now, if we wait until they become a junior, senior in high school, it's too late. Wow. It's too late. So we have to start at a young age. So, and it looks different from elementary age to middle school. But I think as they get into middle school, that exposure is key to help them define and determine their plan of action. And it giving them those experiences and the know-how. And for a lot of them, they don't see how they apply a school, what's going on in the classroom to in their adulthood and the rest of their lives. They can't connect the dots. And so how do we connect those dots that this math, this science, this English, this public speaking will help you in your capacity to earn or to have a life that's comfortable for you and your family, or to be able to give back. That connection, and because in the schools, they don't have time for that. Right. No, that's so true. They don't have time. So it's to come to us as a community to provide that, because we have the experts in the community. You have yourself, we have organizations, we have banks, we have churches. We have the knowledge, but how do we connect those dots for these young people to empower them and show them? And that takes sacrifice, man. Yep. It takes sacrifice. It's not a dot. You're not getting paid for it. It's a commitment to the future of our community. Yeah. And so I know for specifically for Boys and Girls Clubs, we have programs in that space, but what we sometimes lack is the expertise to administer those programs opportunities for our young people. And so it's great to speak to someone like yourself and other individuals to be able to, support those efforts wherever it may be in that financial literacy space. And then it also makes you think, college is, of course, 4-year school is not for everybody. Right. Yeah. For everybody. Yep. And even an example with my own family, with my daughter, when she graduated, she was still taking a couple of courses at the community college. And she didn't immediately step into her undergrad program. And so between that, she worked a lot of different places based off the career she wanted and got exposed to it. So now when she gets to college, she has idea, okay, I want to do that. So it's not wasting money. It's not wasting time. So it's almost, do our kids need to take a gap year after high school on purpose and go work and figure out, what they like, what they don't like, instead of going straight into an institution? Because depending on the high school you went to would determine if you're prepared to go to some institution. And so sometimes, I don't know if that's the right answer.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, but I think we have to now consider alternative routes to get to where we're trying to go, right? Like, I think, again, I'll speak for me. I can't even say this about my parents. Like, I graduated high school. It was like, oh, what I'm going to do next? And it was like, oh, I probably should go to college, right? It wasn't, really laid out for me by my parents, no fault on their part. But I think for so many parents, they want the bumper sticker, right? My kid went too, right? And so there's like, when you graduate high school, you got to do this. And again, not saying that that's wrong, but I do think there's a tremendous opportunity for awareness that isn't the only way. We were doing our final walkthrough over at Wake Tech, and I'm so excited, man. And I hope we can fill the place full of youth and parents so that they, like the kids that went to Howard, can be inspired by this experience. And we were doing the walkthrough, and I was looking out the back, and the school bus was pulling up to Wake Tech, dropping off kids. And I couldn't help but smile, right? Like, wow, we are adjusting the way we do this education thing. And again, I think we've got to just, raise the flag and really blow the horn. Like, there's another way, right? There's another way. Not that it's better, but there's an alternative. And even if it's the gap year, or go figure out what you really want to do and learn how to do. Because today, I think you got to be much more intentional than we had to be. Like, we kind of skate through, right? And we're probably going to land on something and be all right. It's a little different today. And I think we got to be able to guide our kids in some capacity.
Yeah, and it's not just people in your neighborhood you're competing with. You're competing with people all over the world now.
Globally, it's a global game. Yeah,
and that sure wasn't the case when we were coming up. We could see our competition each and every day. Now, we don't know who's in our spot, who's ahead of us. We're in the pecking order of opportunities based on who we know and what we don't know. And so, schools have to think differently, but we also, as community and even as parents, have to think differently as far as, the routes our young people take and how to get them from A to point Z.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that they're exposed to so much information. Like, again, had the privilege of speaking to a boys camp week before last. And, I'm up giving my kind of intro and just trying to ask some questions and set the tone for the talk. And these kids is just spitballing the answers about saving and investing, and if you spend more money. Like, I was like, wow, these kids are already brilliant. So again, how do you just direct and channel that brilliance and not and listen, right? Hear from them, because they're probably further down the road than we give them credit for. And so it's really, I think, guiding them as opposed to, challenging them to what they do or don't know. So anyway, you're the expert in that space, man. Well, listen, bro, I'm so grateful for your time. What you guys got coming up? Anything you'd like to let the people know about? How can we support you and your work over there at the Boys and Girls Club? Again, I know it's so important and critical today for what you're doing. So talk to us. How can we support you? What you got going on?
Yeah, you're coming back, man. You see what opportunities are. Community has changed. You see what opportunities are. Personally, as far as the club, I'm working on some alumni initiative to get a lot of our alum back into the fold. A lot of them have been disengaged for decades. And they're right here, and they're willing and able to assist. So if there are any Boys and Girls Club of Wake County alumni out there, definitely come back home. We need your financial support. We also need your mentorship, advocacy, and volunteerism. That's just as important. So that our young people can see someone that look like them doing great work in our community. We also got a sponsorship showcase coming up. So and I can see information. It says actually next Thursday from 11:30 to 12:30, and I'll have to send you the location. It's a free lunch, but it's basically to learn about Boys and Girls Clubs and how companies or organizations can get involved with us in a variety of ways. We're really trying to get the word out. Sometimes you're the best kept secret. We assume people know what we do, but we're not a swimming gym anymore. We use development in a variety of areas that impact kids and communities. And people need to realize, an investment in us is investment in the future of this community to ensure that we stay strong as a county in an area that businesses want to come to us. because they could see a workforce. They could see, people willing to support. And then, after that, we just, school's just starting, man, and so we got a lot of, exciting things going on around just young people walking back through our doors, transition from summertime and having all the fun to really having to buckle down. And so we're about to start some of our programs, academic success programs and character leadership development programs to ensure that they're prepared, for their school day. We're also starting to, integrate these opportunities for them and exposures to, we got a great partnership with Wade Tech Community College. They have an employee that's embedded into our organization that's working with our upper, middle, and high school kids with those with different tracks on, hey, if you want to go on the trade track, we got something for you. For your school track, we got something for you. So that's about to rev up. And so we'll be back on Wade Tech's campuses, a lot of other campuses, and also industries. And so if you're an industry out there or a company out there that love for a group of high school kids to get exposed to the work that you're doing, definitely reach out to our Boys and Girls Clubs because we love to bring some young people there and expose them to the great work that is going on in our community that sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know about. It's for me, some of the smaller organizations that come are the most impactful for our kids. Most important for our kids. And then beyond that, man, sports is about to start. That's the draw.
So you had my buddy at a game the other night.
Yeah, soccer season is here. Basketball season is here. So you still got to have the fun. You still got to have that. Let them be a kid because they deal with so many adult situations sometimes. So we got to let kids be kids, man. And that mental health and still the impact of COVID, even though it was years ago, it's still there. It's still there. So we're managing, those behaviors and those uncertainty and some of those fears these kids have with some of the some new positions that we have that's really focused on young people's mental health and to ensure that they can participate and really grasp all that we're trying to teach in our clubs. So. Again, I've been here for a month, but it's moving fast, man. But that's just a testament to this organization that, I'll be worried if I got here and have picked it all up right now. Right. The fact I feel lost a little bit, like that's a good thing.
That is. Well, man, with your experience and knowledge and expertise, I know you're gonna take this thing by the horns and carry it where it needs to go. And who knows what the future has in store. But you guys, you heard it from the man himself, Mr. DJ Jones. How to support the Boys and Girls Club, and as he mentioned, it's you're supporting the club, but this whole Get Serious initiative is about each of us taking responsibility, first of all, for our own life and the lifestyles we want to live, but wrapped up in that is taking responsibility for the communities that we live in. And so here's a great opportunity, tremendous opportunity to take responsibility. Don't stand, look out your window and complain and talk about what ain't right. Get involved, do something, be an impact in the lives of those who are in your community, who may be just a little less fortunate than you, man. So I hope to see yourself. Well, I know I'll see you, man. If we can figure out how to get some of the parents and the children of the Boys and Girls Club out to this event, let me know if that makes sense. And so, man, we're all community collaboration, working together for the greater good, man. Any closing thoughts, things you want to share before we wrap up?
Hey, man, I mean, this seminar is going to be awesome. This conference is going to be awesome for all of us. Ryan and his team is doing a great job of putting something together that is sorely needed in our communities. And so, you come to a conference, it's like it's so much information. I can guarantee you there's going to be something that resonates with you that you'll be able to apply. And that application is key. And so don't come and think it's going to be too far over your head. I told Ron, I went to public school, so there was so many big words, I know. But it's a place that, we got some great conversation. And then some of the most important aspects is the networking. Who you get to meet, and who you get to get in front of and gather information. Information is key. And so this is an opportunity. And so don't miss out.
Yeah. Well, listen, I can't say it any better than that, man. I appreciate you, my friend.
Sure.
I know we'll be seeing you around here soon.
Yeah.
And so we alluded to it earlier. So we get to trade kids all the time.
That's right. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you in a little bit. All right, man. I appreciate you. And know that we're here for you, man. We got you.
Thanks for the opportunity, brother.
All right, man. Absolutely. Take care.
Yes, all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap up, if today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to take the next step. 1. Register for the Get Serious Economic Empowerment Weekend at GetSeriousSeminars.com. Number 2, Join the Faith Focused Finances wait list. We have some exciting things coming down the pipe. And number 3, download today's free resource. You're going to find it linked below. If you haven't already, subscribe, leave a review, or share this with someone ready to get serious about their life, their money, and their legacy. I'll see you in the next episode.